Got a new book out called Watch My Smoke, the Eric Dickerson Story, out in about a week. By the way, of all these stories in your career, you had a very storied college career at SMU, a very controversial program. If I said, what's the best story in your book, is it a SMU story or an NFL story?
Well, I think everyone wants to know what happened in college about the Trans Am. Everyone asks that question. How did the Trans Am come about? And in the book, I tell you how I got the Trans Am. The Trans Am came about through my grandmother. And people say, I say my grandmother, that's not the lady who raised me. That's my great-great-aunt. My grandmother, my grandfather lived in Houston. And basically, I'll just give you a heads up on it. My grandmother actually bought the car, and they gave her the money back for the car. That's exactly what happened. So it was like a wash. So that's how I ended up with the Trans Am. Everybody wants to know. So how did you get the Trans Am? SMU bought you the Trans Am. A&M bought you the Trans Am. Well, my grandmother really bought it, but she got the money back for the Trans Am.
All right. Now, who'd she get the money back from?
She got the money back from SMU, actually.
Okay.
A&M had paid for it. I don't know if A&M got their money back, but she got her money back from SMU.
Okay.
And I didn't find that out till much later. I think I was in the NFL when I finally asked her about it, because when it happened, when I got the car, she said, "Don't you worry about it. Don't worry. It will never come up. You'll never get in trouble with this car." So that was good enough for me.
Now, what's going to be something your fans are going to take from this book?
Well, it's a lot in the book, Colin. It talks about my NFL career. It talks about, me leaving the Rams. I think a lot of people, when I left the Rams, it was under not good circumstances, and I was painted as this bad guy, in the press. The press was different back then. We had no voice. And you get a chance to see, really what happened. I mean, with that incident. And I really wanted to stay with the Rams my whole career, but it just didn't work out. And I think I get a chance to tell my story, how it really went down, not a writer telling a story about me that really wasn't true.
Yeah. So we've been talking about this weekend. The Rams went all in on Stafford. Despite the fact that Goff had some success, he'd won a division, he'd won playoff games, he'd been to a Super Bowl, and they go all in on Stafford. So if Stafford loses to Arizona, which is clearly possible, these are really good teams. It's a field goal game. Rams, by the way, Arizona's 8-1 on the road this year. They've been a better road team than a home team for whatever reason. So if the Rams lose, I'm not going to blame Sean McVay, because I know Sean McVay. He took Goff to a Super Bowl. Don't you think Matt Stafford, of all the favorites to lose this weekend, if Stafford loses at home to Arizona, a team that's struggling, it's going to be a bad Tuesday on the air, or a Tuesday on the air for them. They play Monday night. I feel like there's pressure on Matt Stafford. Do you?
Well, of course, there's pressure on Matt Stafford. There's pressure on every quarterback, but especially him, because I think that's the thing that everybody's been saying, that he's never won a playoff game. But, let's just say Matt Stafford goes out and plays great.
Yeah.
But we still don't win. Then is the pressure really on him? Can you blame him? I think when it comes down to a close game, it comes down to a couple of plays, and sometimes it comes down to the calls in a football game for a coach. And you'd have to take the blame on the coach. Prime example, I give you San Diego and the Raiders. I mean, that was calling that timeout made no sense. That they called. So it just depends on how he plays. If he comes out and plays a really good game, and we played a very, very good football team, a team that we know very well, they know us very well. So it really comes down to, if he plays well, what can you say? Yeah, Matt Stafford played well, but y'all lost. It's his fault? No, it's not his fault. Now, if he doesn't play well, then you can put the onus on Matt Stafford.
We're talking about coaches getting fired. Joe Judge just got fired. There's 7 job openings, could be 8. And obviously, some coaches have been fired, like Belichick, gotten another job and been great. So sometimes you make a mistake. They can't overcome their quarterback play or their owner or a bad roster. And I don't know the future for Joe Judge, but people in New York don't care. They want a new coach. But did you ever have a coach? How long did it take you as a player, Eric? If you go back and look at your career, 5 with the Rams, 5 with the Colts, Falcons, Raiders, how long did it take you as a player to go, this guy's not going to work? Or this is a really good coach? Can you tell quickly?
Yeah, you can tell quickly. A coach can really motivate a football team. And there's certain coaches that are good at certain things. Some coaches are good at X's and O's. Some good coaches are good at motivating. I can think about in Indianapolis, Ron Meyer was a great motivator. Now, he wasn't the greatest X's and O's guys, but you know what he knew? He knew talent, and he knew how to get you motivated for a football game. He would talk to you, the game is on Sunday, he's talking to you on Monday. Man, you better play the game right now. I mean, it's like, I'm fired up. I mean, that's how just some coaches are. And some coaches are very good X and O's guys. And some coaches, the team or the roster doesn't fit them. Now, at the end of Ron's career at the Colts, our roster was terrible. I mean, it was just no way we could win because we had given away too much to get, like I say, my friend Jeff George. And that's not his fault. But certain times in the NFL, you have to have the players to win, because I always say there are pros on both sides of the ball, the offensive side and the defensive side.
So do you look around at the playoffs this weekend, it's hard to explain how the Raiders got in. Division's tough. Lost Henry Ruggs, their first-round cornerback draft pick. They got him out of the building. He was so bad. They have an interim coach. And I look at him and I'm like, man, how? It's just chaos. Are you shocked the Raiders made the playoffs?
Well, no, because the Raiders were playing pretty good football in the beginning. Really good football in the beginning. Look, people have a tendency to think because the coach got fired or you're missing a player. It depends on the player sometimes. But players, they have to go out and play no matter what. They're going to play hard. That's what it comes down to. And it showed that Raider football team, they went out there like, hey, that is just the noise outside of the complex. We have a job to do, and we're going to go do our job. And they played really good football. Now, it's some games like that game Saturday, was it Sunday night when they played the Chargers, that could have went either way. I mean, the Chargers jumped up on them, but it just showed how good the Raiders really are and how good, you said, an interim head coach came in, how he motivated them to never give up. So you have to give him credit, and you have to give the Raiders credit.
Eric Dickerson, new book, Watch My Smoke. The Eric Dickerson Story, January 18th. I miss those neck braces. I really do. There's a lot of things about the NFL I don't miss. I miss those neck braces. Good seeing you, man.
Hey, good seeing you, Colin.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.